still beat that. So
Oh,
I think I also I did a lot of I did a lot of reflections too. I did a lot of reflections, and I got to see that one of my major challenges is starting things and not finishing it. That is something that usually happens. I can start a task today and I'll be all excited, all giddy, and I don't finish most of my tasks too. And I read a bit of books around psychology that okay, I read some articles that relate to some of those things, and I got to see that it's something that happens from our brain, and I'm trying to unwire that wire. I think that is something I have been doing since Tuesday, and I've been doing it intentionally, starting a task, starting like if I want to do something in the morning, I try my best to focus and finish. Maybe let me trick my brain into somebody that starts something and finishes it. Yes, aside that, I wanted to post for the last session that we had, but I didn't have time to do that. And the assignment too, thanks to Zainab and the other team members, honestly. I got lost somehow and just came to our rescue, and thanks to them, it's amazing.
uh,
Aside
thank
that,
you. Okay,
everything went well. Yeah.
thank you very much. While we, having this conversation, our trainer, our facilitator, just joined us, in person of Dr. Peter Esiole. Is someone I so much respect. Dr. Peter, please confirm that you are here. I can't see anything on my screen. Uh, so interesting. Okay. So it's someone I respect so much. I've attended a series of his lectures, his training programs, and I must confess, it's someone I also want to model. Like there are a few things I've also learned from his training session. This morning is going to be taking us on civic leadership and civic engagement. For some of us, I probably must have shared his profile. Oh, yeah, I did share his profile on the group, but I just want to also read his profile bio once again. Uh, Mr. Peter Esole is a seasoned HR, human resources, and leadership and training and development professional with over 10 years of experience across banking, e-commerce, and consulting. I can attest to this. He specializes in leadership development, employee engagement, talent development, organizations and helping organizations align people's strategy with business goals. He holds a BSc and MBA in business administration from Ahmadu Bello University Zaria and currently doing his DBA, that's Doctor of Business Administration from the prestigious University of Abuja. Probably I'll tell you why I think the University of Abuja is prestigious. He's passionate about leadership, development, workforce transformation, and youth empowerment. It's a pleasure and a real privilege to have with us this morning a mentor, my very good friend, someone I would love to one day follow in his footsteps, Dr. Peter Esole. Please, with a virtual applause, help me make welcome Peter Esole to take us on this session. So please confirm that you can hear us and you're here. Can anyone see? I saw it just now.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can. So I'll project the screen, sir, so that it's easier from your own end.
Please,
Does that work?
can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
All right, all right. I think I'm struggling to actually get, but let me use my earpiece so that I can make progress. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir. I think you are muted, sir.
How about now?
Okay, yeah, better, better.
Oh, I can. Oh, yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
All right. I want to try to see if I can use my earpiece.
Okay,
If
okay.
it doesn't work, I can move it. Can
So just speak. No, we can't hear you.
you do without the earpiece there?
Okay, sir.
All right. It's better now, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Thank you so much. So this morning, I'm really happy to be here this morning. I joined and I had someone talking about some of our achievements, what she has done. I'm so excited that young people are doing great things. This morning, without wasting our time, I'll be speaking on leadership and civic engagements. I would like to commence this session by letting us know that leadership is not about position. It's not about position. It's not about being a head of a department or being a head boy or being all that. Those things are actually good, but that's not what leadership is all about. The foundation of leadership is about taking responsibility. It's about service. It's about influencing people and the community positively. That's where leadership starts. It's about actually leading yourself. If you can lead yourself effectively, then you can be given a chance to actually be a great leader. So I have this, I reframed the whole course content into a framework I call the 4 Ds of self-leadership. And I tie the civic responsibility to it. I hope as we progress, we're going to, connect to what I'm about to share with us and see how it affects each and every one of us. Please, next slide. Say so. I can project my slide from here. But I would like to confirm if everyone can hear me clearly. All right, great. So the opening question, why do so many bright young people burn out or opt out? That's a question. Why do people, start up things and then, halfway they give up, they become tired? The issue is that it's not because they don't, they lack passion or they don't have vision. It's not because they lack opportunity, but it's because no one taught them to lead themselves first. I went to a secondary school where, a boarding school, when you go into, the first level, that is JSS1, you're taught how to make your bed in the morning before going out for duties. Actually, a military school, it was compulsory for you to make your bed and do some basic things before going out. With that, you can actually, lead junior students who will be coming later. The school insisted that as JSS1 students, you must learn basic skills, basic survival skills. If you have gone to boarding school, you understand what I mean. These things were important for us to actually lead those that will be coming after us. But today we see a lot of people trying to take up leadership positions. People want to answer bosses, MD, CEOs. People love those big names. But sometimes when you come close, you'll be so shocked that these guys actually lack the basic things that make up leadership. So that is why I'm going back to the foundation of what it should be like. The 4 Ds of self-leadership will guide us as young people to actually, make progress in the area of leadership and then see areas we can apply our leadership skills. As a matter of fact, I agree with Dr. Sam Adeyemi, who says leaders are not born, leaders are actually made. Well, there's a controversy around that statement. Some people believe that leaders are born. Well, for me, I believe if you acquire the necessary skills that makes you a leader, then you are a leader. And I'm building upon that framework and upon that belief that leaders are actually made. Please, next slide. All right, the first truth, we do not become who we want to be when we get what we want. We get what we want as a result of becoming who we need to be. I want you to pause on this and think about it. We do not become who we want to be when we get what we want. we get what we want as a result of becoming who we need to be. Right. In this era of, this technological era, the era of remote jobs, people working from home, a lot of things happening around, content creation and all that, there is this message that people are passing out there that what matters is, to have, those things, having material things is what makes you stand out, is what makes you a leader. But I think the material thing is the result of you becoming who you need to be. It's not actually, what makes you a leader or someone that should stand in a place that you influence others. Success does not produce character. Character actually produces success. So if you show me your value system, your values are able to define who you are, the kind of person you are. You don't show me results and then expect me to just respect you overnight. I need to know your values. I need to know your character before I see you as someone of repute. Leadership does not begin with followers. It begins with you. So you must lead yourself first before you are able to lead others. Next slide, please. So this framework is the 4 Ds of self-leadership. The first one is discover. The second is develop. The third is discipline. And the fourth is deliver. We're going to run through this one after the other. To discover is to know yourself and your purpose. You can't tell me you want to serve a community, you want to, you want to go into, governance, you want to go into entrepreneurship, you want to go into, community service without actually knowing yourself and knowing your purpose. There is need for you to actually identify who you are. You need to know who you are. You need to know your strengths. You need to know your weaknesses. You need to know your personality. You need to know what works for you before you even talk about developing capacity. You can't just go out there because everybody is going out there to do 1 or 2 things. You also want to just go there and do whatever what everyone is doing. You need to sit down and then
Please, can anyone hear you?
all right. Can you still hear me, everyone?
Yes, we lost you for a few seconds, sir.
All right, I'm back. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Hello? Yusuf, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can hear you, sir.
So the second D, develop, grow into the person you want to become. You actually need to develop yourself. You need to acquire the relevant skills. You need to, go for that course. You need to go for that mentorship program. You need to actually bring out that crudeness, bring out that raw material. Let's use crude, for example. Crude oil can be, processed into about so many byproducts. So a lot of us came with potentials. However, your potential is not enough. You must go through the process of refining yourself. I call it development. You need to grow into the person you want to become. Then discipline. You do what matters consistently, not someday, not when you feel like. Not when you feel like. Emotion is actually an enemy to discipline. So you show up every day and do what you have to do to actually get ahead. Then deliver, which is the last D. You create value and leave an impact. In other words, you need to know yourself, grow yourself, lead yourself, and then impact others. That is how it works. Before you talk about civic engagement, you need to actually even know your strengths. Which area should you deploy yourself? Is it just whatever you're called to do, you just jump in there and then give it 5 years of your life, and then after 5 years, you now realize that you don't get any satisfaction from inside, and then you want to reverse. That reversal is always, very difficult and painful. So some people just end up continuing, even when they don't get satisfaction. So this framework will actually put us in check to make sure that we're doing the right thing at the right time. Please, next slide, please. So I'm going to break this framework to help us understand deeper what I actually mean. So we'll start with discover, know yourself and your purpose. Self-leadership begins with self-awareness. You need to actually discover who you are. You need to understand what works for you. You need to know the kind of person you are. You need to identify your value. In management consulting, we always say that culture will eat strategy for breakfast. And culture is usually gotten from the value of organizations. And then as individuals, we have values too. If you don't discover your values and then develop those values and make those values obvious to everyone that meets you, you will end up doing anything that shows up. What you aspire to contribute, you need to actually discover it. Questions that still with you at this stage are questions like, what kind of person do I want to become? What kind of person do I want to become? You need to actually know this. What values will guide my life? What strengths and talents do I possess? What impact do I want to make? The truth is, for those of us that are ladies here, most times we go for shopping or we go to the open market, in Nigeria to shop. I'm sure most of us will make lists before going to the market. So when you go to the market, you don't waste your time. You just go there and then get things on your list. Now, if you don't have a template, if you don't have understanding of who you really are, anybody can just give you anything and then you take it and then you will not be efficient. You need to really understand what is on your list. What is on your list? What works for you? Your strength, your personality, even your temperament. You need to know all these things because they all point to where you're going to. I will always make this example. While we were in secondary school, I remember after the JSS3, exams, JSSC, right? We're about to go to XS1. A lot of people were going to science class, not because they were really good in science courses, but because their friends were going there. They didn't search inwards to know their intrinsic abilities. They went to science class because they wanted to go with their friends. But eventually we noticed that in SS2, some people started coming back to art class because they realized that this science thing is not for me. That was actually a mistake, following crowd, trying to do whatever everybody's doing. So it is important that we discover who we are. First of all, you need to discover who you are. Spend quality time in thinking about yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses. In fact, I always advise people to do SWOT analysis on yourself. You don't need to do SWOT analysis in your organization. Do it on yourself. Sit down, get a paper and pen, write your strengths, your weaknesses, and the opportunities and threats. Things that can threaten your kind of person. Then you begin to list all your strengths, list all your opportunities. Then if you can even sit down with a mentor, they will guide you in areas where you can actually apply this. Please, next, please. Still on discovery. Now we're going to look at how discovery yourself connects to your civil engagements. The civic connection right now. You cannot serve a community you do not understand. That's a matter of fact. You don't just because it said maybe NGO is lucrative and this and that. You just go into. You don't know that there are areas you could actually specialize in. Discovery is not just internal; it's also external. You need to do some research. You need to ask questions. You need to actually get understanding of areas where your skills, your personality can actually, where you can align properly. To lead civically, you must discover the needs around you, discover the voices often ignored. I'm just giving examples from my slide. Discover where your gifts meet the world's wounds. You need to know all these things. Now, these discoveries will actually help you, put yourself in the right place. As a matter of fact, people, in fact, I've been in the HR space, we do training and development, and we realize that so many people go for interviews, and the truth is that they just want jobs. People just want jobs. They don't sit at home and ask themselves some questions and tell themselves the truth. Jobs they can never take. They just come show for job interviews. And when you start asking critical questions, you now realize that this person will not stay on this job for 5 years. She just needs something that will put food on the table. And that is the case here in Africa. But I know that will be corrected with time. With this new enlightenment that's coming, people begin to make new decisions about their life, about their career. As a matter of fact, this subject matter is supposed to be taken even in secondary school. People are supposed to begin to, there's a unit in secondary school, guidance and counseling. These are some of the things that people should be, educated on. You need to actually discover who you are. You need to discover your areas. You need to have an idea of where you're going to in the next 5 years, 10 years. And getting to know these things is not just, you don't do it, you don't just do it randomly. You have to, it's actually a work of meditation. You need to take out time from the crowd. In fact, go for retreats. Sometimes go to quiet areas, spend time alone to design your life. Write down what you can do, because your life, your career is a serious business. You don't take it for granted. Your purpose is not private. It is the intersection of your passion and the world's pain. Self-discovery without civic awareness is incomplete. And mind you, I need to mention, in Africa, we're always good at going to school, getting BSc, MSc. You hear someone say, I have 7 degrees, I have 8 degrees. It's common in Africa. I need to state here that the purpose of all those acquisition of skills, development, is actually to make humanity better, to add value to humanity. That's why you're getting those certifications. That's why you're doing those courses, to contribute your quota, to add value. And the law is this: the more value you get, the more value you receive in return. So the whole idea of all these things is to make sure that you are a person of quality who delivers value to community. And at the end of it all, community doesn't have a choice than to give value back to you. This is why you see some people's life are actually far better than others. Anyway, there are other reasons for that, but for now, I'll just stop at this. The next point is develop. The next slide, please. After you've discovered yourself, it's not enough to know all the areas of strength you have, and then you become excited. I can speak, I can talk, I can write. No, it doesn't stop there. When you have discovered who you are, your areas of strength, you begin to grow into the person you want to become. You begin to develop yourself. Success is not accidental. Character, knowledge, skills, and habits must be intentionally cultivated. You need to be intentional here. You need to know the course to go for. You need to know the area to work on, because as a matter of fact, there are certain areas that people look out for right now. For example, in the financial sector, for example, if you're going in as an accountant, even if you know the whole basics of accounting, all the whole rules, you're a 2-1 graduate or a first-class graduate. If you're going for audit position, for example, and an auditor notice that you have issues with character and integrity, you can't work there, because that kind of job requires you to have a modest character and be a person of integrity. So areas to develop is not just about going to school, acquiring that skill, going for that course. That's some important values that you can develop. You develop character and integrity, emotional intelligence, your ability to understand, the value system of others, respect their emotions, put boundaries, while considering your own emotions too. You need to be emotionally intelligent to actually excel, in any space you go to. Knowledge and skills are important. This is where we talk about your education. As a matter of fact, I keep saying this to everyone I meet, especially young people, that education, school is not a scam. It can never be a scam. The only, one of the opportunities you can have to meet certain kind of people is in our school environment. Someone argued that the Nigerian system is deteriorating. No doubt. However, the school will give you a platform to actually develop certain skills. The school cannot give you everything. They might just give you the platform. Then it's on you to do the rest of the development. Communication and relationships need to be developed. Physical and mental well-being. Some of the ways to grow is to read and learn continuously. Are we together? Are you with me, please? Hope I'm not alone. Are we together, please? All right. So my mentor was asked a question. Someone asked him, "Sir, what's the best sector to operate in?" And he answered everyone. He said, "The best sector is the learning sector." And people are like, "What's the learning sector?" He said, "Learning sector is the most lucrative sector." So in the end, he now got to explain to us that anywhere you find yourself, any sector you find yourself, that you should be learning, you should keep learning. Don't stop where you are. What differentiates the guys who eventually begin to, make, to lead the organizations or to make impact are those that, see learning as a continuous thing. So you don't just get your MBA and then you become certified in one course and then all of a sudden you stop learning. Learning is not something that you stop after your BSc or after your MBA. You keep learning. As a matter of fact, one of the culture we have in our organization is every year you must write down the courses you attend, seminars you attend, so that that year the organization doesn't want to take it for granted. They don't want to assume. They need to write it down. These are the things I want to do. And there is a partner who tracks those developments. So seek mentors and role models, build positive relationships, embrace feedback, and practice discipline. As a matter of fact, this is one area that we are suffering here in Nigeria. When you watch some of our counterparts in the foreign world, in the advanced climb, almost everybody have a mentor. You see people, if you look at the big that we admire, all of them had mentors at early age. But here in Africa, we just school and we move on our own. It is easier to move faster when you have mentors. So in developing yourself, you need to look for someone that have gone through that route, or that someone that actually achieved something where you are, and then align with the person. Just find a way to be of value to the person. Someone in my organization prepares slides for me because he wants mentorship from me. So his own way of giving value to me is to prepare slides. Anytime I call upon him, I need this slide prepared. He'll prepare it for me. Then after preparing it, then he will now start asking me deep questions and deep questions. I don't have any choice than to answer those questions. I spend quality time with him, guiding him, because I'm already 15 years ahead of him. I put him through so that he doesn't make some of the mistakes I made. And then for journeys where I spent 10 years to get to, I try to shrink it for him so that he just spend few years to get to that level. So growth actually attracts opportunities. For those of us who are entrepreneurs, I don't know who are entrepreneurs here. One of the things I'm to tell you is this. We have come to this realization. In fact, I have evidence to show you that you don't pursue money. If you pursue money, you can actually get the money, but you'll not be satisfied. It is better to attract money than to actually pursue money. I think this will help us to, if you can remember this, that you don't pursue money, you attract money. If you develop yourself in these areas, there is no way you go to, and people will not acknowledge that this person is a person of value. Next slide, please. Please, Mr. Yusuf, are you with me? All right, so the other part of connecting it now to civil engagement, when you've developed yourself, now you can now begin to influence your community. You don't go empty. If you go as an empty jar, there's nothing you need to, you are not giving anything to that community. You just go there and cause more problems. When you go empty, you don't give anything to them. So what you give is determined by what you've taken in, those courses you've attended, mentorship programs you've gone through, the person that, all the whole development programs you went through will help you become a better person in the community, be able to engage in things like advocacy, things like that. You be able to develop your public speaking skills. Then you can even represent a community and speak up for them. But what if you have not developed that capacity? How will you be able to do that for the community? How can you even engage? How can you volunteer? And right now, there's a research lately that was published by one of the agencies that promotes remote work in America. They were encouraging young people that you are missing out opportunities if you don't take on voluntary jobs. So it's pointing to you that you need to start doing voluntary jobs to actually attract, great opportunities. So you cannot influence governance if you have nothing to offer. Development is preparation for service. Every skill you build matters. If you notice that you're someone that can write properly, then maybe advocacy is for you. Public speaking, if you can speak, and then those kind of prefects that when they speak in secondary school, everybody stands up. My managing partner is someone that can influence you. He can influence your thoughts. When he speaks, you want to, you go back to your thoughts, you begin to re-examine your life. So if you're that kind of person, you notice that when you speak, people listen. You begin to develop yourself so that you can engage in community representation. If you are good in organizing things, those very perfectionists that can put things together in their home, make everywhere organized. Maybe that is pointing to you that you need to start mobilizing people in your community. You need to start putting things together. If you are someone that can listen, maybe you could resolve conflicts at the place of mediation, resolving conflicts in communities. Then critical thinking too can also be something that if you develop, you can hold leaders accountable in certain areas. Your personal growth is not selfish. It is the foundation of your civic contribution. The community needs you at your best. So you cannot go into any civic engagement going empty. You need to go with something. You need to go with something. I keep saying this. You don't go empty. If you want to help anybody, it's like going with a keg of water somewhere. You want to give somebody water and you're not filled up. You need to be filled up now before you can able to give your community something. So I always encourage everybody to get filled up, with all the necessary knowledge, the skills, everything needed to actually add value to the community. The next is discipline. This is where a lot of youth struggle. People have discovered that they are good at something and they've gone for courses. And then what happens after acquiring those courses? They go back home and lie down, waiting for things to come to them. No, it doesn't work that way. You need to get out of that bed and go and try something. Even if it's a job that you'll not be paid for, just go there and add value, because the only way you can build your skills is actual application. You need to go out there and try something. Go for organizations, NGOs, where you can volunteer your service, go and serve them. Because the moment you go back and rest on that skill you've acquired, it begins to reduce. I have a practical example. While in banking sector, I was very good at Excel. But when I left banking sector, the next job I did, I didn't use Excel for so long. Then the day I saw Excel sheet, I was struggling to remember some formulas because I don't longer practice. So it's like medical doctors, after studying medicine, you're no longer practicing. So your dreams become reality through consistent actions. You need to find platforms to practice. In fact, if you need to go somewhere and then just volunteer, help a teacher. I remember then after my service, I didn't get a job immediately. So I went to teach business studies and computer studies in my neighborhood. And that was for free of charge, because you just realize that you're becoming dull, you're not sharpening your brain anymore. Nothing is challenging you. That is dangerous. So self-leadership practice, you have to set meaningful goals, manage time wisely, follow through on commitments, serve and collaborate with others, stay consistent despite challenges. I need to strike here that emotions, feelings, I feel till I feel tired, I want to just rest at home. These things are enemies to progress. You need to find a way to overcome emotions. Set goals. Every day I will go out there, I will jog in the morning, I will take a walk, 15 minutes. Challenge yourself. Something happens to you when you give yourself that 30 minutes, 30 days assignment, and you actually do it. Something happens to you. You're built discipline muscle. You can now do other things. I tell people why I jog on Saturdays. It's not because I just feel like jogging, but something that happens to me is actually very challenging. But after jogging, when I come back, I tell myself, wow, if I didn't faint on this journey, then that means I can do anything, because sometimes I push myself so hard. And then if I come back, I'll be like, wow, that means I can do anything. So you must find platforms where you have these small daily actions. It's very important. If you're a Muslim, you're a Christian, you can volunteer in your church, in your mosques, go there and see what you can do for them. Very important. Don't allow that skill, any knowledge that is not applied becomes useless over time. So find a way to begin to add value to your community. Please, the next slide. Still on that discipline, I would like to let us know that let's see the connection now with discipline and civic engagement. Civic responsibility is not a one-time event; it's a daily discipline, something you do over time. Governance participation does not begin at the ballot box. It's not just going there to vote. No, that's not where it begins. It begins with small, consistent acts, showing up to community meetings, even when no one claps, showing up to the mosques, showing up to help the elderly, speaking up for the young ones that cannot speak for themselves, speaking up for women. These are little things you can do every day, consistently. You start doing it from your small space. Before you know, you see yourself doing bigger things. Speaking up for what is right, even when it is easier to stay silent. Holding yourself accountable so you can hold leaders accountable. Remember, this is about self-leadership. If you cannot do it for yourself, then I'm not sure you can do it for others. You say, I lead a team of 10, and yet you cannot even discipline yourself to be consistent in certain areas. Serving consistently is very important so that you can build trust over time. The first person to trust is yourself. If you don't trust yourself, how can people trust you? So if you have failed in that assignment, how can people even trust you to give you higher responsibility? Challenge yourself. Maybe even today, you can tell yourself, oh, I'll start reading this book every day, 1 chapter, or every day 2 chapters. That will actually help you. Leadership style is not a personality test. It is the daily pattern of how you show up. Discipline in small things prepares you for large responsibilities. Next slide, please. We're in the last D now. The last D now. Please, I'll leave you the next slide. Now, the last one is deliver. Create value and leave an impact. This is where you deploy yourself. This is where you deploy yourself consistently. Success is not merely about possession or status. I didn't mention styles of leadership intentionally. I know some people are expecting me to come and say, we have democratic style of leadership, we have protocol. Those things you've been learning in secondary school. Is it really applicable? By using it, you know all the styles of leadership, but we're not seeing you apply it anywhere. So I'm not going to be telling you about leadership styles. Then after telling you, you now jot it down and then keep it somewhere. I must tell you things that you need to do. If you really want to, if you're serious about your life, you really want to move forward in the area of leadership. Success is not merely about position or status. It's not about position. I'm the HR. Have you HR yourself? Have you been able to check yourself properly before you talk about leading others? True success is measured by the value you create and the positive impact you make. What delivering value looks like. Please pay attention to this. Making a difference in people's lives. I'm a 2-1 student, I'm a first-class student. I must summarize everything for you. Whether you're in the private sector, you're in the public sector, you're in the NGO space, if you are not adding value to another person's life, you are a selfish person. And selfishness is not why we came here. We came here to give value. We came here to give value. We came here to use all that we have acquired to make humanity better. That is why we're here. So that 2-1, that first class is not for you. It's not a bragging right. It's for you to become a more valuable person, to make impact in your community. You solve problems for your organization, building meaningful relationships. And when I talk about relationships, I'm not supposed to say this here, but I'll just chip it in a little bit. As much as you can, one of the easiest ways to be someone that is recognized, that have a chance of stay in the place of leadership in any organization, is embracing problems. Don't dodge problems. Solving problems is one of the quickest ways to get to the top. Even when those things are challenging, if you want to get to the top in any organization, whether it's NGO space, begin to accept challenges. When they ask volunteers, suggest, volunteer, tell them you want to be the one to do for that task, even though it's difficult for you. Before you know it, people will notice you. And that is the best way to build relationship with people at the top. And when you build relationship with people at the top, it's easier for you to climb. So take note that solve problems in your organization, in your community, in your space, solve problems that normal average people are running from is what differentiates you from others, and it gives you a chance to actually deploy yourself. Achieving personal and professional goals, contributing to society. What you achieve is a reflection of who you have become and what you consistently do. So solving problems is actually one way of delivering value. The more impact you make in your community. See, you know what I love about value, delivering value. Value doesn't care about your religion, where you're from. As long as you deliver value, everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. People will need you. Even people that don't like you because you're adding value, they will look for you because you're actually adding value. So you need to find a way to keep delivering. Keep delivering. Some people said that they don't want to showcase themselves so that they don't load them the work. But I tell you the truth, at a young age, especially for those that are coming from disadvantaged background, you need to begin to accept those responsibilities that stress you. It might stress you for a while, but I tell you, you're building a ladder to leadership. A ladder that will take you to the top very quickly. Please, the next slide. So, in terms of delivering value and the civic connection, this is where it all comes together. Civic responsibility is delivering value to your community. And let me start here. They say charity begins at home. Start with your family. Begin to deliver value in your family. Start from there. Then move to the next level, your community. For those of us that are Muslims, begin to deliver value in your mosques. For Christians, begin to deliver value in your church. Find a way to add value. Don't just be someone that occupies space. We are not part of us, so we are not going to occupy space. Your youth participation in governance is delivering value through public life. You must find a way to actually add value to your community. Advocate for change. You have to advocate for change. You have to represent others, especially for those that cannot speak for themselves, those that don't have the capacity to actually find a way to deliver value to them. I'm coming to the end of the class now. I'll just leave you with this thought again before I end this session. You don't actually, it's not what you get that makes you a leader. It's not what you get. It's not the accolades you receive. No. You become a leader, right? And then those things come to you naturally. So let's not twist it the other way around. We're getting it wrong, especially in Nigeria. If you look at startups now, startups are solving problems. When they solve problems, then they get investors, right? You don't look for investors and they can look for a problem to solve. So the pattern is you add value to yourself and then you begin to give out value. That's the model. You're taking the physical things that actually make you, begin to add value in physical places. So just to wrap up this session today, I would like to encourage every one of us to use this leadership, self-leadership equation. Discover yourself, develop yourself, apply discipline, and deliver. In other words, know yourself, grow yourself, lead yourself, and then impact others. Don't chase success, pursue growth. When you pursue growth, success will naturally follow. Don't focus only on having more. Focus on what? Becoming more. When you become more, you will have more, right? When you become better and consistently do what matters, success and impact naturally follows. That is the formula. So be it in civic engagement, you need to go back to the drawing board. If you have been getting this wrong, go back and follow this framework to actually, discover yourself, develop yourself, apply discipline, and then deliver value. Some people reframe this thing, some people call it the be, do, have concept. You have to become first, before you start doing. And then when after doing, you now have. That's the formula. You don't turn it upside down. If you pursue things, you keep losing those things. So at this point, because of my time, I have come to the end of this presentation. I wish every one of us the best. But I'll leave you with this question, just a question. What will you do next Wednesday? I said next Wednesday just to take us by surprise. Everybody always look forward to Monday, but what do you do with your life next Wednesday? Not when will I be ready? What will you do next Wednesday? Based on what you've heard today, can you just write something down that I'll begin to do this thing? Because after delivering, sessions like this, people just say, "Oh, I enjoyed it. I like this concept." No, it's not about having a concept. I didn't come in to, give you a framework that you just stick down on your notes and then you perform. What are you going to do immediately with it? What are you going to be doing with what you've heard? Is there any area in your life that you need to actually fix? Go back to develop yourself. Have you abandoned yourself for a while? Remember, if you don't fill yourself up, you don't have anything to give to your community. So discover yourself, develop yourself, apply discipline, and then keep delivering. Keep delivering. You can go through this framework over and over again. If you get stuck, you go back to the first one. You discover yourself again. I do it even at this stage. Sometimes I go back and I ask myself, what you're doing is in line with your vision. Are you sure this is you? I begin to ask questions, and I'll now make decisions on things I will cut out, things I will let go of, things that are taking my time that I need to take out from my schedule. I cancel some appointment. In fact, as a matter of fact, why I accepted to be here today is because this is in line with my vision. One of my vision is to actually, impact knowledge, to share ideas with people that will stimulate them to make decisions about their life. That is why I'm here. It's in line with my vision, and I'm in the area of training and development. So it's a platform for me to actually give value. So ask yourself, that area you can write, and then you just sat down. You didn't go for any course to kind of improve that writing skills, and you just know that you can write. No, you have to do something about it. After acquiring that, going for that course, look for somewhere, look for a platform. You can begin to write for a journal. Yes, make the mistake at early age. When they correct you, you improve on it. Begin to look for platforms where you can actually deploy yourself. So thank you so much. I appreciate everyone listening here. I really appreciate your time. Sorry, I had to stay back in the church. I went for vigil, and I stayed back for just to make sure that I'm with you this class, because if I drive down to my place, I might miss the time. So I stayed back in the church. So sorry for the sound you're hearing from the background. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having to sacrifice your comfort for us. Just before we continue, I'd like to ask if you have any questions for Dr. Peter Silva. He has taken us through the strategic leadership framework, which he calls the 4D of self-leadership. Any question for him, please? I mean, when he was speaking, it just reminded me of the late Jim Rohn, and I couldn't help it. I would stay the whole day listening to Dr. Peter Esole, and I won't get tired. Any question for him, please? You can drop it in the chat box. Okay, I think I have questions for each and every one of us, and that would be his final. Okay, Mr. Marcos, please go ahead. Mr. Marcos, yeah.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter, for your wonderful presentation. The presentation was so wow, concerning leadership, how to discover yourself, how to discipline yourself, and how to deliver. And also learn some skills before you can be able to lead people. So my question here is just like maybe I just need a clarity on the first DS, which is discover. So I don't know how can one discover uh, by himself to be a leader without acquiring a skill. Because you talk about skills, discover yourself, maybe learning some skill before you can be able to lead people, before you can be able to maybe get follower, or maybe you lead yourself before. So how can one discover himself without skill in terms of leadership?
Dr. Peter, I don't know if you got him correctly. He's asking how can one become a leader or discover, I think, become a leader without necessarily having to go for formal skill acquisition, right, Mr. Marcos?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Sorry, I may be shouting because the noise in the background.
No problem.
Without formal education or without formal training, I believe everyone on this earth has something. We have things that God has deposited in us. We have values we came with, that things you easily do. That areas you have strength. For example, let me go. I believe everyone here somehow have attended secondary school. And even if you have not attended, but this example might be related. There are subjects that you are good at. Naturally, you find it interesting. You always look forward to that teacher coming to your class. For me, I was good at commercial courses. I loved economics, business studies, accounting. These are my favorites. Whenever I look forward to my accounting teacher and my commerce and economics, I love those courses. Now, those courses were pointing me to something. I also had a friend from Akwa Ibom in my class. The guy loved government. His best subject is government. Anything politics, you see him, he will listen. He does very well in that area. And I'm just giving an example, that areas that you have strength. Now, if you notice you have strength in those areas, begin to develop capacity in those areas. Begin to read books. That will help. That people just go to standard bookshops. You see people in your area that have progressed. Begin to read books and see how they were able to grow. Those books will help you. Seek for help. Look around your environment. Who have this kind of my skill? Nothing is new on earth. Everything you have, someone else have done it before. Just look for someone that have done it and begin to seek value. Come close to that person. Ask questions. Develop. It could even be. The problem in Africa is that we look down on some informal, maybe some skills that you don't acquire in school, like those that go to workshops. You can be good in a certain area, people repairing vehicles, and you become a leader in that area. I'm giving an example. You can become a leader when it comes to what? To mechanics, start being a mechanic, repairing vehicles. You can set up a school, begin to bring children from village, begin to influence them positively, train them, Those are not employed. We have a lot of issues of unemployment in the country. Imagine you are the best. You now have a platform where young people can come and learn from you. You are a leader already. First of all, you led yourself. You developed your skill. You became an expert in that area. Now, that thing you did, one thing about success is success can be documented. And when you know how you got to the top, you can actually get someone else and impact the person. You are a leader. You already remember leadership is influence, taking responsibility, service. You can get some person or someone in your community, begin to influence that person with the things you have acquired because you've led yourself very well and you have a bragging right in your area. You are not successful in that area. You can as well get someone. So leadership starts with self, and you don't have to have one big position. I am the general overseer of this place, or I'm the governor of this state. No, in your community, you can be a leader in your area of strength. You can be a leader in anything. And as a matter of fact, we have a leader. Elon Musk is a leader when it comes to what he's doing, right? Dangote is a leader when it comes to what he's doing. Same way, in different areas, there's lecturers in our institutions that are leaders in that area. There are people you run to for help. In that area, they are leaders. So leadership is not about position. It's about who you are and the kind of impact you can make in your environment. I don't know if that answers your question, but if that doesn't answer your question, I can still, buttress on it. But because of time, I will stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Peter. Mr. Marcus, did you do justice to your question?
Yeah. This justice to my question. So what I just learned now, I don't know. It shows that you can be a leader without a follower, right?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, you can start leading. Yeah, and at some point, people will always get attracted to quality. So the fact that you become a quality leader at some point will attract people.
Right.
It begins with leading yourself. Yeah, thank you so much. Any question?
Yeah.
Any question? Okay, probably I asked my own. I remember in his last slide, he asked, what would we do differently this week? So after listening to this wonderful master class from Dr. Peter, I would like to ask maybe each and every one of us, maybe in one sentence or more, what would you do differently? I've listened to the 4Ds on self-leadership, on how to first discover your purpose, develop it, and I think what the third one before deliver, discipline, then deliver. So what would you do differently? From my screen here, I can see Madam Rabia to go first, Mr. Hillary second, Mr. Marcus third. I just call at interval. So what would you do differently going forward? Having listened to this amazing conversation and having Dr. Peter share so many nuggets on self-leadership, growth, development, how to most importantly position yourself for opportunities in the nearest future. What would you want to do differently? Hello, change makers. What's happening? Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Ahmed, good morning. How are you doing today?
Yes, sir. Fine, sir. I'm okay, sir. Yes, sir.
I hope
I
you are enjoying the class.
Yes, sir. Very well, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think this class was just actually like an eye opener for me. And I think probably the first thing I actually want to do is to change my mindset about everything.
Okay.
Yes, I think that's the first thing, and I think the most important thing for me right now is just to change my mindset about everything. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Mr. Ahmed said the first step he would take is to change his mindset. And indeed, mindset is key to everything would become on it. So kudos. I wish you the very best. I'll definitely keep in touch with you to understand how far you have gone with changing your mindset. So thank you so much. Who would love to go next?
I'll go next.
Please
So,
go ahead. Okay. Yeah, go on.
so for me, I think there are some skills I think I stopped using. Just like you said if you don't sharpen them, they will die. So I'm going to put them into action again.
Thank you very much, Zainab. You said you definitely visit some skills and also, get back to working on them. Did I get you correctly?
Yes, yes, you did.
Okay, okay. Which of those skills so that we can follow up? Sorry, I am that friend that always follow up and say, how far? Tunde, where are you now on this thing? You said you are going to achieve this thing. What,
I actually love that. So I actually love talking. Like I know how to do public
public
speaking.
speaking? Wow.
Yes, yeah. But the problem is I don't really have that, like I procrastinate when it comes to that storytelling. Sometimes
Okay.
I get tired, even though I love writing because there was a time I even wrote this normal novels,
Wow.
but then I stopped at one point.
Okay.
So I guess I will have to continue writing, and also yeah, if there's anywhere I can just put in my skills for this public speaking,
Okay.
inshallah I'll do that.
Okay. So I don't know. Do you reside in Abuja or I think you said Sokoto? Do you know the one?
No, I'm not in Sokoto. I'm in Suleja, Abuja, brothers and
Okay.
sisters.
Oh, okay. 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 All right. Okay. So maybe it's fast. So I'll send you few links. So there's this public speaking club, Toastmasters International. You can check it. I used to be very introverted, right? Clubs all over the country. I think about 150 something countries in the world. But you can join virtually to maybe engage. I think if you join virtually, you don't need to really pay. You can even attend some of the club meetings physically. You don't necessarily need to pay. So that's how I got interested after my service here. I became a Toastmaster. We call ourselves Toastmasters and everything. If not, so that's how I got to get improve my public speaking. I'm still growing. Thankfully, I have Dr. Peter, which sometimes I just go through his profile and say, okay, yes, this is how they do it. And whenever it comes to our office to train, yeah, I'm someone that loves to imitate. Probably there's a book I'd love you to read. Still like an
Okay.
artist, still like an artist, just give you an idea that you don't need to start afresh. You don't need to do something special. You just need to look for people in that space and just try
Yeah.
to model what they do. Yeah. So don't worry.
Thank you
You
very
definitely
much.
get better. You're welcome. Yeah. Would
And
love
then I
to
have
go.
procrastination. Maybe you help me in pushing that away.
Oh, I think we all struggle with procrastination. What I just did recently, I don't. I think it's helping me was to do one thing, just pick one thing every month. Like
Okay.
this month I'm actually learning supply chain management. And even
Okay.
when because there's what we call shining object, the shining object trap. While you're doing something, another thing comes and you feel like this is the best thing. And no, you just leave that. So without my list for the next 6 months, I go through it. Oh, this month, this is what I must learn. If I'm going to
Yeah.
read any book, it has to be deep. If I'm going to think about anything, it has to be this. Then at the
Yeah.
end of the month, I go through what I've been able to achieve. If I need to do it for the next month again, I do it. So I don't rush over. It's probably something you want to do that. Just list them per month so that you can follow up or per week. If not, sometimes it's always very easy to procrastinate. So
Okay, so
congratulations.
thank you very much.
Who would
Thank
love to
you.
contest? I think we still have another 20 minutes before we call it a day. Hello, love to go next.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon,
Oh,
sir.
okay, oh, my very good friend, Mr. Eli, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So, for me as well, I have those um reluctant spirit not to make a move. I am very good in sport activities, precisely running, athletics, and dance as well.
Wow.
But since I got to Abuja, I think I'm liking the motivation and someone to always go out to, train. Because when I was in school in Illmi, I actually attended some university games.
Okay.
Uh, yes, like Logan Sport, and
Yeah.
I also went for Wawa as well, West African. So coming down to Abuja here, I just I've not even seen someone who has the same
Skill.
like the same skill
Same,
as
same
mine,
interest. Yeah.
interest as mine, because a lot of them is football. When you approach anybody, like let's go and play ball, let's go and watch ball. So I think that's just my challenge, and I love reading as well. Yes, I do like reading. So I read at
Wow.
my leisure time.
So what was
So
one of the best books you read recently?
I read recently. Uh, though it's an old book, things fall apart. So I
Wow.
love reading books like this. Yes,
That's nice. Wow, that's
yes,
great. So, I, I'm happy you love running, and when it comes to exercises, I am a no go. I don't do it. I don't know. I'm very lazy when it comes. But I know we do so much around hiking in Abuja, especially within Use
one for sure.
area. Yeah. So, I can't promise you because I don't think I'll go to the barracks anytime soon, probably early August or probably then. So in the barracks, like in Asokoro, yeah, there's so many running activity like the polo club that you can just join and just find a way to do that. But I'm not certain I was supposed to be there today, but because of my engagement, yeah. So, but if I definitely have your contact, whenever I'll go towards there or engage in any of those activities, I'll let you know. So the barracks
All
is
right.
also a very nice place. Yeah, where you just
Is it Mambila Barrack in
yeah,
Asokoro?
yes.
Okay, sir.
So you
All
just
right. I really love to network with
okay,
them.
okay.
Yes, sir.
So I'll let you know how it goes. Don't worry, soldiers will not beat you. I can promise you with my heart that they won't touch you. Thank you so
All right.
much, Mr. Larry. Okay, who would love to go next?
Okay, so I'll go next.
Oh, Madam Sadia. So please go ahead.
All right, thank you for the session. It was really good. I enjoyed it. Um, I think what I would like to work more, do more is, like I said, I work with insurance company, which I do nine
Yeah,
to five. But aside the other thing I do, a certified volunteer, I volunteer with other organization, and my interest mainly falls with education and menstrual hygiene. So
wow,
I've been volunteering, but which led to me working on a project I pulled out with my friends last year,
wow,
December. We were able to do a menstrual health sensitization and all that in an orphanage, which went out very well. I was able to get source funds from family and friends. We were able to give out sanitary pads and then clothes, food stuff, and all that. But this year, because of my timing, I won't really say because of my job and all that, I won't give that as an excuse. But I've not been able to volunteer this year with the organization I do because of the workload and all that, my work. But I think I need to really check my time to manage my time and how I can embark on that to build more skills. Just like our first little talked about his Excel after he left the banking sector.
yeah.
So the thing is, if you are not sharpening yourself, if you're not learning more often and all that, you get to lose a little bit. So I think I need to really work on that aspect because I feel volunteering can really help you grow and build more experience and all that. So I think that's the part I'll be working on.
All right, that's amazing. I'm wishing you the very best. Also rooting for you. Definitely, I think okay, it's being recorded, so I'll definitely go back to check all that you have said and also follow up in maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks time. So kudos that you're not attributing all that is ongoing to the fact that your job is taking your time. Most time, one of the easiest excuses we give as corporate workers to say, "Oh, my job takes my time. That's why," and everything. So thank you for being sincere. to yourself, and that's the hallmark of self leadership. Who would love to go next, please?
Hi, good
Oh,
afternoon. I'd love to
oh,
go
please go
next.
ahead, Mr. Marcus.
Okay. Thank you so much for this following up because this question. So, what I would love to do as in next is measurement and evaluation. I like data analysis. I like statistics and also maybe um, analyzing data for decision making in terms of uh, policy and sector. So the what I love to do is for me to start data analysis in terms of policy or decision making for an organization or for an NGO. So I
Wow.
don't know, maybe if Peter will help me on that in terms of measurement and evaluation when it comes to data analysis. Because I'm working with an NGO in a health sector, HIV program, and so we we used to be given an assignment to go
Okay.
out to onto data collection, monitoring the data collected from a community or from site, and also
Yes,
give
yes.
a feedback, then make a decision on what is going on with the project. So I would like to put more effort and maybe have a guidelines on how to go about this data analysis when it comes to using an Excel.
Okay. Wow. So thank you very much, Mr. Marcos. Good 18. I think is it in 2 weeks time or 3 weeks time, Aisha, Nana, El Yakub will take you guys on everything that has to do with data analysis, monitoring and evaluation, how to use Kubo. I think it's Kubo you guys call it. I only know how to use Tableau, Power BI, just like Dr. Peter mentioned earlier. I had to revisit it last week because of I'm actually going through a management training with Sahel Consulting. And funny enough, when the guy started Power BI all over again, he made us like, yeah, I've used this. And for the first 1 hour, I didn't know how to even use the Power BI again. But again, I think for now, I can easily use Power BI back again and Tableau. So I'll connect you with Aisha, although she's going to take you guys in 2 weeks' time. But ask her if she'll be willing to connect with you earlier so that you can talk to her. She knows how to do anything data analysis as it comes as regards monitoring and evaluation. She was our former monitoring and evaluation officer before she got a better job and moved on. But she's someone I can recommend. Another person will be Awa. Yeah, she's with us. But I'll confirm I'm on leave, but please just follow up with me by Monday so that I can easily reach out to them and connect you with them. But there are two individuals that I know that will take you very well, like take you when it comes to M&E and take you through the pathways on how to become an effective M&E or effective and efficient M&E officer. Thank you very much, Mr. Marcus. I hope this helped.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, please just help me, remind me so that I can actually follow up.
All right, sir.
Yeah, so please, who would love to go next? I can still see uh, Mr. Ahmed. Have you spoken, Mr. Ahmed? Man, Mohammed, yeah, Adamu. I've not heard from you guys. Okay. Oh, Joanna, please go ahead.
Okay, for me, I have to discover my strengths first because
Wow.
I I can't be everywhere, so I have to be somewhere.
Exactly. Yes, that's
Yes, I
true.
have to discover my strengths first, and then
Okay.
develop myself by reading books that motivate me to be disciplined in my life
Okay.
goals.
like a chapter
Oh,
a day according to what he said.
okay.
And also try applying for volunteering.
Okay.
I think I have
Wow.
to discover my friends first. Then pick one.
Okay. So how do you intend to do that? How do you intend to discover? Have you known your weakness so that it also guide you on what your strength is look like? Or
Yeah,
better
I
still,
need to
what are your interests?
my interests. I have so many interests. So many
Wow.
interests. That's why
Okay.
I need to write it down, then evaluate the
Oh,
one I'll be going for.
okay. Okay. So wow. That's fine. I'll talk to Dr. Peter if he could have another session on defining purpose, identifying strength. I'll let you guys know by next week. We can have that one of these days. So you just pick us through. I hope that this helps.
Yes, thank you
Let's
very much.
go. Yeah, okay. Would love to go next. On scrolling this program. I can see the. Okay, Yaya, please, Mr. Yaya Mohammed, Mr. Yaya Adamu. The floor is yours, please. Or Lillian and Olga, would you want to say anything? All right, so I think we'll just 2 minutes, sorry, 7 minutes to the end of our meeting, our training session. Don't mind me, I always want to chicken out when it comes to saying, what would you do next? Probably I'd love to share mine. How many of us would want to listen to mine? What would I do differently? Since nobody, so we'll gradually call it a close. Thank you all for taking your time to, join us this morning to afternoon session. We are glad that it was worth it. I believe it was worth it for each and every one of us. Same time, the recorded session will be available Monday, and our next session will focus on programs management. Practically, you get to know about grant writing and all. And Samad Isa will be taking us on that. And from once here, we'll say goodbye. Have a great weekend. And just like Mr. President would say, enjoy your weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Yeah.